Okay, welcome to CYONE session about next generation monitoring. My name is Vladislav Tatarintsev and I will be a speaker today, and we will talk about monitoring, why we need it, what are the different approaches. And before we start, thanks to all sponsors who made this event available to all of us. And yeah, enjoy the show. More than 60 sessions on this fantastic conference, CollabSphere. And yeah, enjoy the show. So a few words about myself. My name is Lat. I do Domino from 1998. It's a previous century. So I'm a certified IBM Domino administrator from release 4, developer, administrator, instructor. I also co-authored 3 IBM Red Books related to Domino. And I'm HCL ambassador, IBM champion, and also I'm a member of Penumbra Group. And yeah, let's start about monitoring. So today we are talking about monitoring, but yesterday day before we delivered session on two-factor authentication. So if you missed, there will be a recording on the website on our YouTube channel. So great way how you can under 5 minutes deploy two-factor authentication on Domino 9, 10, 11, or 12. So it's another sessions that we delivered on previous days. So why we need monitoring? Why it's a hot topic now? Because monitoring allow us to automate and reduce automate tasks for Domino administrators and reduce load. And it does it 24/7. We can check with monitoring if our servers comply with HCL best practice and run more than 1,000 monitoring checks that comes out of the box, and you can also extend it yourself. So I will tell in more details how we can monitor performance of particular applications, so for safe conflicts, for add formula. So anything that we know in Domino world, like add formulas, we can use it in monitoring. And we will learn how we can also automatically solve this. Okay. So monitoring help us to predict problems, and we can also react on this. So for example, if traveler is not performing well, we can just go to dashboard and understand what is the problem, whether it's database need to be defragged or internet is slow or something else. So monitoring will pinpoint the issue, and all we have to do is just run a scenario to fix it. So what are the options to monitor Domino? So as always, the first one is maybe, and the wrong one is reactive approach. We wait complaints from users. This is not we will talk today. So this is something with what we did 20 or 30 years ago, but not in the 21st century. The Domino administrator is that I used when I was administrator of Domino 5. So we have some monitoring tab, but we can monitor really basic stuff like number of users, status of tasks. This is something that Domino administrator can do. In Domino 7, there is a Domino domain monitoring. Cool. It was a cool addition to Domino 7. We can, extend monitoring to much deeper things. We can create thresholds. but maybe it's still not enough, because if server is down, we will not get alert. For example, we have one server only, so your neighbor servers will be unable to report it. And proactive monitoring is a topic for today. Why DDM maybe cannot be considered as a normal monitoring? Because it is able to monitor only numeric values. So, for example, if DAO's status is out of sync, you can actually read a statistic that is text statistic. So we can, yes, monitor tasks, but let's say it has a lot of probes, a lot of cool probes, but still it's maybe my suggestion is to use it together. So to monitor some things like long running agents in DDM, but the overall Domino health can be monitored in a solution like ours that I'm presenting today. And when we go to work, when we are in office or we work remotely, when we start our work, we need to check that everything is fine, that all our servers are running, and that all our servers are running and they perform well. In this case, we need to go on each server, read statistics. We need to check different admin P, net lockout, DOM logs that nobody's trying to break in. And we need not only to look into statistics, we have to understand what do they mean. And there are in average on a server there are 4,000 or 5,000 different statistics, and they change every minute. So I think it's obvious that to check server is okay, it takes time. So normally it can take 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more if everything is okay. And yeah, what Domino administrators do daily? They do this type of checks. They maintain infrastructure, they put patches, they do upgrades, they detect server availability or problems, and they solve them. They also do some checks with Domino files, with statistics. And after this work, they need to do, let's call it real work. So they need to participate in upgrades, in, I don't know, adding HTTP Nomad Web, HCL Nomad Web, and maybe participate in a meeting. They need to go on training, on vacation. So it's actually this type of checks that I mentioned in previous slide. They take a lot of time, and if we can automate it, then we are more productive. And as I said, in average, one server takes 30 to 60 minutes if everything is perfect. If not, if we need to solve something, then of course it takes more time. So if you have 16 server, you need full one person, 8 hours per day, 5 days per week, just doing only log checks. I think it's not efficient, and that means we are not doing this properly. So potentially Domino is reporting some issues, but we are not checking this in logs, and at some point we may face a problem. And when this problem occurs, we may go to logs for previous week, and we will find that Domino was actually reporting us that we will soon run out of space. Some important agent was failing already. So yeah, we need to somehow automate this. And from previous slide, we know what administrators can do, and let's see what monitoring can do, and not daily, but 24/7. So in green, you see all the things that we can automate, and we can stop running, doing some routine tasks. We can use our time more efficiently. So this is how monitoring. So actually, monitoring save our expensive time because smart and knowledgeable people who have knowledge about Domino, it would be great if we can use this time to not to check logs, but for example, do something more creative. And the topic for today is CYMON. So it's CYONE is a company name, our company name, and MON is monitoring. So CYONE monitoring. And out of the box, it does almost 1,000 checks. So there are many, many different dashboards for different purposes, for help desk, for traveler, for same time, for mail routing, for clusters. And so we will cover in a few slides how it looks, what we have out of the box, how we can extend it. So we will cover it right now. So when we talk about architecture, it's really important to understand how it works. We are proud that our monitoring is completely agentless. So we don't need to install anything on Domino because, when we are in enterprise, we a little bit afraid to install, not afraid, maybe it's not the right word, but we try not to install third-party software because we don't know how it will impact our running production server. Um, it's easier for us to just add another nodes client. So monitoring is like a nodes client for Domino. So if you have 1,000 user or 10,000 users, the monitoring will be just plus one user for your infrastructure. So somewhere there is a Linux machine with open source components like Zabbix, like Grafana, and there is a component called LD Sensor. So it's a micro nodes client written in C API, and this monitoring is this monitoring just this monitoring component knows how to talk with Domino. So what is add formula, what is Domino statistics, and other things. And of course, there is some knowledge from CYONE because, as I mentioned, we are doing Domino for 23 years now, some colleagues 24, and we just digitalized our knowledge about what is good and what is bad. And monitoring is just doing these checks, and if something is failing, then it just reports it's not good, please fix it. So yeah, when we drive our cars, I really like the way that computer is trying to help us, because it will be very time consuming to drive cars if we, before to start engine, we check all tires, we check oil pressure, oil level, and all this stuff. So we have huge checklist before we start engine. So we can do the same with Domino. So depending on the severity, we can tell, does it need immediate reaction, or we can wait maybe till tomorrow and fix it later. So, and yeah, I really like these topics, not the topic, but the slide, because on the right side, we see the dashboard of Concorde. It required 8 people to operate the plane. And on the left side, we see Tesla. So Tesla dashboard gives us what is important now. I don't need now, for example, oil level or oil temperature if it's okay. I just need to know navigation and maybe my speed, so I don't exceed it. And this approach we tried to uh, deploy in our solution, to realize in our solution. And let's see. So the business reality today is that business wants to projects, including Domino projects, to be done faster, cheaper, and with smaller number of people, unfortunately. And if we are checking clocks for 8 hours, we don't have time to do projects. That's why we have to automate Domino administration, and then we save some hours, maybe days, to do some project work. And solution for that is automation. And we also try to use predictive monitoring. By predictive monitoring, I mean that we can predict problem and even fix them in advance. So not wait until it impacts, don't get me wrong, in domino effect way, um, other aspects of domino. So for example, if DAOs will be out of sync, attachments will be no longer deduplicated. So the space, the free space on our servers will be running out much, much faster. So we will hit disk is full much faster than with working DAOs. And one more plus of having monitoring, we can train our people about, let's say, how Domino is built, how it operates. For example, one of our customers saw that the cache is not efficient. And he said, oh, okay, now I know there is a cache. Oh, there is a parameter, no tiny parameter. How can I impact? Or maybe I have something very old from Domino 5. Maybe I need to just remove this parameter to let Domino auto-tune itself for some areas. So it's always, we can think about different aspects of Domino. And let me give you just one example. For example, on Monday morning, early morning, when we are sleeping, the DAO is becoming out of sync. For example, somebody was restoring database and Domino said, whoa, I have this database that was not on my server 5 minutes ago, so DAOs is out of sync. If we noticed when we go to work immediately that it's out of sync, we normally schedule DAOs resync for the next night because it's a resource intensive operation, and normally we try not to do it in large environments during the day. So only next day it will be synchronized, and then during Monday all attachments went to directly to users databases, to mail files. So we need to do compact. So for example, we do also compact the same night or during the weekend, but we do it manually. So the fixing of problem takes almost a week, maybe a day, if you risky to do it the same day, but it takes a lot of manual activities. But if we are automatic, so for example, 2 a.m. DAOs out of sync, so 2:01 a.m. DAOs resync command is launched by monitoring. In hour or so, it's synchronized, and when when admin goes to work, it sees, okay, there was a problem with DAOs, monitoring fixed it, so how cool, I can I already saved these 2 hours and I don't need to do it, so I will do some practical real work. And with all issues we found in Domino, we not only give you, oh, you have a problem, but we have also solution. For example, here We give some hints on database efficiency. For example, if, yeah, and quite common that a lot of customers just upgrade the Domino servers, but unfortunately, they don't get benefit from all the features that we have in our great Domino. For example, inline indexing. So we can check and say, look, you are not using this cool feature. Maybe for some important database you can enable and they will just run faster. So, and okay, you go to documentation, you read how to enable it, and it works okay. For some sophisticated problems like semaphore timeouts, I see, for example, that my servers are facing some semaphore timeouts. I can hover over this I letter and most popular timeouts will be here. So if you know that, for example, we face some 410F semaphore. If I hover over, I see it's all operating file system semaphore. So I need to do something not with Domino, but with my operating system or with disk subsystem. And yeah, you always know that second byte of the semaphores gives the area of problem. So 1 means operating system, 2 means NSF, then goes indexing. So the second byte is very important. We at least understand area. And yeah, so everything is in one place, so it really saves time. So we don't need to go to documentation to support, search what the semaphore timeout means. So a lot of things are just, yeah, out of the box. For example, we have notifications that users are expiring. Maybe even, we will cover it later, some users have user ID in person record, which is really bad. And if we have 10,000 users, we don't do these checks quite common. Let's be honest. But monitoring can detect that something is against HCL best practice. For example, here, the best practice from HCL is that number of devices and threads should have 20% difference. So if you have 100 devices, then you have 120 HTTP threads. But if sometimes, for example, just recently a new iPhone appeared, all people or all our users bought new Androids, new iPhones, and all of a sudden our travelers start to work with problems. And why? But here, for example, as soon as this yellow line will approach number of devices will approach HTTP threads, monitoring will tell you, okay, Mr. Administrator or Miss Administrator, you have to increase number of HTTP threads in advance because soon we will run out of the threads. Or, for example, if we have here delay before sync, we can hover over and understand what to do. For example, we need to do some defrag. Or, for example, here we run, our traveler is running, but all of a sudden the requests to finish takes not 1 second, but 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute, maybe even infinite, more than 2 seconds. So maybe the internet is slow, maybe something else, but at least we understand that this part is slow, but time to open mail file is fast. So we are trying to really pinpoint where is the problem. So it saves fantastic amount of time. Yeah, for example, here is a time to open traveler database. Maybe we need to defrag it. So we know that traveler is slow because of the particular component. Yeah, as I said, for example, this devices and threads, they should be in number of threads should be plus 20%. And yeah, as I said, there are many thousands, normally from 4 to 5,000 statistics, and they change each minute. And we need to not only see them, but also understand what do they mean. And without even we who know statistics, I would like to avoid, refreshing statistics table and analyzing with my eyes. I better do something more creative. For example, we know that as soon as the average QLN becomes more than 1, it's bad. So our disks are not performing well. So maybe something else is using our disks, or maybe, I don't know, one of the disks in right has died. So we are using Stripe now. So we are calculating on the fly. So at least we understand disks are slow, and then we investigate why. And yeah, as I said, so a lot of problems can be predicted and solve it in advance and avoid really disruption of users. So we can detect that somebody is trying to scan our servers. We can even integrate it with messengers. So for example, a lot of us, we don't want to be at work, or maybe some of us wants to be at work and do some Domino stuff. But when we are away, we can have notifications, for example, in messengers, in Teams, in Telegram, maybe in other messengers. So monitoring can pass you information. And like in this example, the server died, and my colleagues says, okay, I will take care about the server, and let's assume it's evening, so we don't start to text each other, call each other. It's we solve it in a chat. Yeah, so for example, he said, okay, some Java agent failed, or I need to do something. At least other people, when they are looking into the phones, they understand that one colleague already solving issue. And you can say, okay, what about applications? Because we can say that monitoring is a toy for Domino administrators, but business is paying for this toy. Can we really monitor business applications? And the answer is yes. We can monitor any ad formula. For example, we have customer requests, and we normally know that customer requests in status new should they are never in the status for more than 1 day or maybe 2 hours. So we can write a simple formula and check it. As soon as there are documents that fulfill formula, we may get alert, we may get notification in monitoring, and we go, okay, why this customer requests are accumulating and nobody's processing? Oh, maybe because some agent failed. And of course, we go and see which agent started to fail. And yeah, we can also create so-called per application statistics. I can show what I mean. For example, we have again the CRM, and what we can do from your application with one line of Lotus script code, we can create such document, for example, CollabSphere, CYMON monitoring, and add values. We can increment values, we can append them, we can do different things, and later they will appear in Domino statistics table. Yeah, so for example, it's CRM, number of unprocessed documents or processed today, and then our monitoring can just read them from statistics table. Yeah, so you see we are running latest build of Domino, Domino 12.01, the latest build. And yeah, we can easily enable monitoring of our applications. So we statistic enable them. And one more thing we have as a part of our monitoring, I mentioned that this solution is built by Domino administrators for Domino administrators. So we try to build it the way as it will be convenient for us to work. For example, there is a small application, we call it Formula Wizard. And for example, we can copy some view and we can do some adjustment. For example, we open names NSF, it just shows us users, but I'm not interested in all users. I want to know if some of my users have user ID attached. And all I do, I copy this formula to monitoring. And as soon somebody will, for example, from help desk or from junior administrator will make a mistake that create a user with user ID attached, monitoring will say, it's a bad practice, it's not good. And I will immediately fix it. So I will go, I will find, I can try this formula and it will show me which user has and I can remove it. So I will really quickly fix it. And the most important, I do it only when the problem occurs. I don't do it daily. So I don't want to run through crazy checklist for 200 items each day. So as I said, it's event-driven administration. So somebody make mistake and I fix it. Maybe next time it will happen in 5 years, and only then I will fix it again. So I think it's really saves time for everybody. Yeah, we have different dashboards for users, for performance, for security, for traveler. Some of them are not mentioned. You can create your own. Again, it's built on top of open source solutions, so you can easily extend it. The only, let's say, um, commercial component is a license for to talk with Domino and knowledge that we put these rules. So it's yeah, we have subscription, we have perpetual licenses. Subscription is only $60 per server per month. So I think it's really affordable. So for example, if you have 20 or 10 server, let's put 10 servers. So for 10 server per month, it will be $600. So if we hire somebody, even junior administrator, I think he will not accept to work to get netto after all taxes $300 per month. So for this amount of money, you get a professional tools that will run 24/7 and will be even able to fix problems according to scenario. For example, yeah, fire, Domino, DAOs, resync commands, anything. Okay. Here is the user dashboards. For example, we had a funny case at one of our customers. We deployed monitoring and they said, oh, you know, this dashboard is a little bit strange. User lock it out is growing and there was a curve going up. We said, no, with monitoring is fine. Everything is fine, but you are being kind of hacked right now. And we opened Inet Lockout and yes, there was a hacker attack on this particular server. And yeah, we see if I think we also, especially experienced administrators, we are familiar with things that something starts to work completely different. You ask your colleagues, have you changed anything? They say, oh, no, I changed nothing. And when you really pinpoint the issue, it figure out that everybody changed something. So your colleague one changed something, somebody from help desk, somebody changed it and went on vacation. So if somebody is changing policy, we see not on the number, but we see the changes here. we see just informational alert. So, okay, it's not a problem, but just notifying that somebody is changing server documents, configuration document, policy documents, and you can create your own. Okay. If all of a sudden you see that crashes started to grow, for example, you deployed some feature, maybe untested it, so you can roll back, but you don't go every 5 minutes to crash database. You don't analyze, you do it visually. I like it very much because I can make decision based on visual graph representation. Okay. Again, here, somebody's call you and say, look, mail is not flowing to internet. You open a mail dashboard and you see, okay, number of emails waiting is equal to number of emails waiting for DNS. And you said, okay, yes, it's true. We are not flowing mails to internet, but please fix DNS. And you pass it to network guys who are responsible for DNS. Okay, so with just, okay, we learned our clients how to do this visual administration, but normally after a day or two, we will be able to, yeah, it's obvious. You just make decision looking onto these graphs. There is a management dashboard. When they see everything is fine and not fine, you can create your own criteria on availability. And yeah, so there is actually no end how much you can go with monitoring. So just each time you face some issue, let's just code that we want to know when it occurs next time. And maybe if we know solution for this problem, again, we can automate. For example, again, many of us are moving from TDI to DearSync. DearSync has statistics. For example, how many users failed, why they have failed. You can just start to monitor them, and we can monitor everything. As I mentioned, we based our solution on top of open source solution Zabbix. And for example, in Office, I really like this example and use it in all sessions. So for example, in Office, we have water cans. And when my colleague Stanislav made a small Arduino sensor here, and when we are running out of water, we have number of cans, and yeah, monitoring can even send an email and order water to. So we always automate everything. So it's I think it's the right way to do stuff, because so much manual work, and if you do only manual work, I think it's you spend the whole day and you see, okay, seems like I need to finish. Uh, it's already evening, but what I have done, and you will realize that you done doing work that can be really automated. And yeah, so again, so 1000 metrics. With every release, we add more. Solution can work with cross-certified Domino servers. So for example, you are a business partner and you want to monitor all your clients. Yes, we can do it. We can, yeah, I think any question you will ask, we will say, yes, it's doable. So just ask for a trial. By the way, there is a free version of monitoring that you can use at no cost. It's this free version is able to monitor mail, servers, and some components of Domino directory. So like yeah, save conflicts, so admin P stuff, and but of course we will be happy if you can try to evaluate the full version of monitoring. And if proper monitoring is implemented, the availability goes up. your users are happy and you save some hours, you automate everything, and then you have a great infrastructure. If not, then okay, we will do reactive way. We will know about problems from users. Maybe it's not the best way to do administration in 21st century. And yeah, if you have some questions, you have some proposal for what to add more, or you want to just try the solution, go to our website, CYONE EU CYMON. We are happy to provide you a trial, assist in deployment. Actually, deployment is, I think, 10 minutes. You just import a virtual machine. You have full root access, so nothing is hidden from you, so you can control completely all components of virtual machine we give to you. And yeah, my colleagues will try to answer questions. So if you want to reach out to me, send me an email, vlad@cyone.eu, and I am happy to answer your questions. And yeah, if you have some questions, type them in a chat in Q&A section. And yeah, my colleagues will be happy to answer. So thank you for your time. We almost in time, and yeah, enjoy CollabSphere. Thank you very much.